Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm joined with Lillie, our co-host, and me, the host, Blake Ligon. And today we're going to be talking about nostalgia and pretty much everything that surrounds that, being kids, high school, anything that can give you a little tingling feeling. So anyways, what would you like to start off with?
We can start off with talking about maybe our, what would you want to call this?
We have a piece of paper here that
I'm sorry,
is telling us what to do.
We're looking at a piece of paper right now. It's kind of scatterbrained. What did you call it? I called it primary school to elementary school. Was it a different name for y'all?
It was just elementary school and high school, but was yours on different campuses or? Yes,
our primary school, which is kindergarten through second grade, that was on, it's in Saltillo and it's kind of on, I think, the highway or something, but then behind it was kind of weird because we also have the high school right behind it, and then playgrounds. We had actually 2 playgrounds. We did. Wow. They thought they were a little bit fancy. Well, we were 5A, 5A, yeah.
Yeah, well, my school was on one campus in a block. I mean, my campus was practically the size of a Walmart parking lot in the middle of Nebraska. I mean, we had 400 people, you knew everybody knew you. We had one playground, 7 swings,
Okay.
Yeah, well, actually I think we had more than 7, maybe more like 10, but you really had to fight for them when you went outside.
Yes.
I mean, everybody just booked it.
Yes, people had those swings reserved, you had to fight for your life for a swing. Once
you had one, I mean, you literally could not get off of it until the end of recess.
Did y'all have those I think for our first little playground, we had a hippo kind of where you can crawl into, or things that you couldn't, it kind of bounced or something. It looked like this toy dinosaur, you can rock back and forth.
Oh, you're talking about, it was
it had a spring under it?
It was a little board, no.
Oh.
We had I don't know what it was, and I never saw anybody playing on it, but we had I don't know if it was metal or concrete, but there was a pole that stuck out of the ground, probably about yay tall, 4 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a little board that was on the side of it, and then there was handles on the top of it. So you would stand on the board and hold on to the handles, but I mean, that's all you could do. It didn't move or anything, so it was just a board that you stood on. You could hold on to the handles if you so chose.
That is interesting.
It's like they meant to put a spring on it.
It wasn't finished?
But it was so not fun that nobody even went to that side of the playground.
Oh gosh. I remember, so I think they were making our second playground maybe whenever I was going into first grade or second grade, and this playground was no joke. It had the swings. The swings were big seat swings, the seats that we're sitting in right now. It was that, but it was so high off the ground to where you can barely sit. You had to literally you had to jump up with all your force to get on there. I don't know why they said, I don't think that they were meant for us. I think they were meant for a different class or something like that, but it was kind of a little awkward. And did anyone bring soccer balls or football?
We were a football high school. Everybody and their mom brought a football to recess. There was no soccer balls. If you brought a soccer ball, everybody would beat you up and steal your lunch money. Me being one of them, because I don't like soccer. It's really coming down out there.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking out the window. Sorry, it's raining. It was super dark, and it's raining.
Well, I had to drive up here, and I almost hydroplaned 20 times, and the parking lot was almost flooded where I'm at. But anyways, what were we talking about?
We were talking about, you said you're a football kind of school.
Yeah. Nobody brought anything but a football. Some people might bring a basketball, but I mean, that was one person. Nobody ever played with it.
So I wasn't really into sports at all, but I wanted to be cool, and I bought me a soccer ball at Dick's Sporting Goods. I was like, Dad, we have to get a soccer ball so I can play with it at recess. So I got like a pink, it looks like your average kid soccer ball with like a pink metallic thing on the outside of it, and I brought it to school. So I think I had like a mixture of boys and girls, and they took my soccer ball, and I wasn't even like in the game or anything. I didn't know how to kick. And it was kind of funny, but then I think I got it back, and I never took it back to school ever again. I think the soccer ball is like $50.
Man.
I was such a people pleaser whenever I was in school.
I don't feel like I was a people pleaser. I feel like one day, probably in the 8th grade or 9th grade, I just woke up and forgot everything before that. And so now all that I have left is videos and pictures and just random memories that pop up. And I'm just so embarrassed that that was me, you know, because I feel nothing like that person. But even just looking at my Snapchat memories, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I wish they never kind of created that. Did you have like, did everyone like agree like in middle school whenever Snapchat was updating multiple times throughout the year? I was in 7th or 8th grade, and it constantly updated or reformatted the whole like format of Snapchat. But do you not remember, it was probably like in 2013, and Snapchat, whenever you send stuff like for a chat, it would be like not like a lime green, but like a teal. Like it would be like a teal green arrow, and it just seemed so how would you say this, very not modern at all. It was kind of like, it looked like Snapchat was struggling to like create the good format. I remember that so much because I wasn't allowed to have Snapchat for a long time, and I was like sneaking it on and off. But then it reformatted into like the squares whenever you would send pictures or send videos. And then do you remember like whenever back then, like it would be like the time in the square towards like the corner of it whenever someone's sending you a video, like it'll be like 1, 2, 3, and now we have like the infinity thing where it can go on like forever for several minutes.
That's I love the infinity thing. I feel like most people don't turn off infinity.
No,
like,
I don't think I do.
Have it on. I didn't get Snapchat until, from what I can guess, 2017, because that's where my memories start. So that's as far back as my logs go. But I remember Snapchat being, if you didn't have Snapchat, I mean, you didn't have anybody.
Yeah, really.
Everybody used Snapchat. You didn't get people's phone numbers. You added them on Snap and hoped that they snapped you back.
Yes. I'm asking Blake this because what is our age gap? Like 2 years or 3 years? Like I constantly refer back to 7th and 8th grade thinking that he was like there with me during the time frame, but I don't think he was.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Yeah, see, I'm 18. Like fresh 18.
Fresh. But I remember maybe in 6th grade, no, scratch that. 5th grade to 6th grade or 7th grade, the Instagram logo was like a Polaroid.
You realize when you were in like 6th grade that I didn't have a phone yet? Because you're old? No. I'm trying to be like, and I'm like, do you remember this? And I'm like, Blake should say, oh yeah. So like all this and that, but it was like a big thing whenever Instagram like did their what is called like app icon to like a Polaroid to now like have they changed it? Is it still just like a purple? Now it's like a pinkish. It has like a Polaroid outline, but it's pretty ugly. But it's the only thing that really stands out. I do not like Instagram. I hate Instagram.
It is really ugly.
Yeah, I remember. So like I guess around the time where you were, alive, I would use my dad's phone, and he had YouTube. Now, we didn't have Wi-Fi at home, but he had like, minutes, like 5 minutes. So I could get on there and watch a 30-second video or something. And I remember that being like a TV icon.
Yes.
Where now it's just like a play button. I prefer the play button. I think it looks way better.
I do remember that also. I was kind of a little spoiled brat whenever I was little, but I remember having the iPhone 3, and it was so tiny. It was also so round.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of these TikToks that have like they have like the iPhone, the third generation of the iPhone, to going up to like 4, 5, 6, and then to now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so nostalgic to hear, like whenever you close out the app and the phone, it goes or something like that.
Yeah. Whenever you turn it on, you had to slide the little arrow. And
And then whenever you charge it up, it goes or whatever. I can't intimidate it, but you know the sound.
Yeah.
And so I had a iPhone 3, either it was called 3 or 3G, and we didn't have Wi-Fi either really that much. I was constantly using my data, and I had like a glittery phone case that you would get from the mall whenever they were actually kind of popular during that time, but I was like, this is it right here.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the iPhone 4 is so nostalgic because it was so thick and it was just little.
That's the one my dad had. I remember using it all the time. He had the iPhone 4 up until I think 3 years ago.
Really?
So his battery, if he took it off the charger, it went dead.
Oh my god, wow.
But he swore by that thing. Now he's got I remember he upgraded to an iPhone, well, it was way farther back than 3 years, it's 2024. Maybe 6 years. But he upgraded to the new and improved iPhone 8. And I was like, damn, fancy. And he has a work phone, which was also an iPhone 8 or 7, I don't remember. But I was like, you have 2 iPhone 8s, that's like 16, and I have an iPhone 5. What's up with that?
Wait, you do?
No, I don't now.
Oh,
But,
I was like, what?
So my phone stopped charging for some reason. And I later found out that it was just full of lint was the reason it wasn't charging.
Oh, yeah.
But I told my dad, I was like, my phone, it's dead. I mean, I can't do anything about it. It's over.
It's over now.
I'm going to need a new phone. And at this point, the only thing they sold was iPhone 11s and up. So I was like, I mean, my hands are tied. I'm going to have to get an 11. You know, what if I get kidnapped and I can't contact you? I have to be able to contact you. So I got an 11, and I still have that phone.
Yep.
And it rocks.
What was it? So I think I had almost every generation of every iPhone. And I think the only one I missed out was the iPhone 7. I remember the iPhone 5C was a big thing.
That's the one I had for the longest time.
I wanted a blue one so bad, but I had to get a pink one. I had to be like a stereotypical girl.
Yeah.
But oh gosh, it was all about whatever color you had. It was almost like it depended on like your entire personality, like your zodiac sign or anything like that. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is so crazy.
I had a blue one, and that's all I can say about it.
That's all I can say about it.
I did not think twice about what color it was, to be honest, but...
Oh gosh. But going back to our kind of like playground era, do you remember the book fair and everything that went on?
Well, it's funny because the other day, my brother he married a girl that has 2 kids. So my nephew ran up to me and he was like, Blake, the book fair, or Uncle Blake, the book fair is next week. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. He was like, aren't you excited? And I was like, I mean, he said, well, did you ever go to the book fair when you were in high school? And I was like, no. Because, I mean, I did, but I didn't like the book fair because I like the Scholastic books that you ordered out of the magazine. That felt way more fancy to me.
Yeah.
The only thing I got at the book fair were like posters.
I actually have a story of what I did. So so I think it was in elementary school. It was either in 3rd or 4th grade. I remember I didn't really buy much of any books, but I'll tell you what I did buy. So this, I think I went in whenever everyone else was not at the book fair, And I think this was like $20. So it was a poster of the Twilight New Moon poster. Keep in mind, I was like, okay, 3rd or 4th grade. I was like probably 9 or 10 or somewhere around that age. And my whole family was obsessed with the whole Twilight series, saga, whatever you want to call it. Oh my gosh, I realized I shouldn't have bought that at school. And I didn't think, I had no thoughts. I was like, I want this, here's my $20, give me it right now. I hung that thing up in my room, and I was like so proud of it. I was like, this was the thing. This was the statement. Oh gosh. I think I remember that lady who checked me out. She was kind of like side-eyeing me and be like, I don't think this is appropriate. But I was like, I don't care. It's appropriate in my house.
I watched, excuse me, heavens. I watched the Twilight movies, and I gotta say, I'm glad that I don't ever have to watch them again. I'm not a fan. Now, the poster that I would get, it had a controller on it. I don't know if they had those when you were kids, gaming controllers, but it had a controller on it, and it was like, don't interrupt me while I'm gaming, you know? Something like that. I was your stereotypical overweight, you know, nachos or whatever shirt on.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, I was that kid. I was so weird. And then in high school, like I said, I just kind of woke up and I was like, what happened?
What did I do? But I know what you're talking about. I just had this thought, like 1 a.m. thoughts a few days ago. Did your Scholastic Book Fair ever have like these books, and it would be like, actually, I think it was called like the I Spy book, or
I Spy.
Like it would be like a white book cover, and it'd be like I Spy, and whenever you flip through the pages, it was very realistic, and it was almost like you were, hold on. Actually, what reminded me of this is because I found at Walmart, I went to the game section, the card games, and I saw this kind of card game that was kind of made out of that book, and this is what it looks like, kind of.
I don't remember that.
No, really? Please? Oh my gosh. But it was, you would flip through the book, and it would be like, I can't remember if it had any like words on it, but it was like pictures, like a big toy room, like a big cluttered, like kind of like a old person house or something like that, and it'd be like a horse. I remember it'd be like jacks that you would throw. Like it was very specific, and it was so. And
it had it hidden in the picture.
Yeah.
And you had to find it. I know the concept. I've never seen the books dedicated. I mean, I had Where's Waldo, stuff like that. Yeah. I remember my favorite books as a kid was the Black Lagoon books. And it would be like teachers from the Black Lagoon, nurses from the Black Lagoon. Have you ever read them?
No, I don't think I've heard of them.
It was about a kid who, it was like his first day of school or whatever. He was like, I hear that this teacher's gonna kill me if I don't do my homework.
Oh,
and I hear that she hangs a kid up on the ceiling by his ankles if he doesn't, you know, wipe the erasers off his desk. I mean, he wasn't that serious about it, but it was stuff like that. He imagined her to be a monster. And then she turned out to be really nice. But that's pretty much what every book was. But I eventually collected all of them, and I felt so cool.
So I was telling one of my friends about our podcast topic today, and he was like, oh my gosh, do you remember the book like David? It started like David's like in trouble or something, and it would have like a stick figure, and he would be like knocking over like a fishbowl.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He was so ugly.
Yeah, he was, oh gosh,
I'm trying to think of what the name of that book is. Yeah, and he was really ugly, and he was always doing nasty stuff.
It kind of almost looks like the downgraded version of the Diary from a Kid sketch.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Books. Yeah, speaking of that, I was very much into that. Was it like marketed towards boys? Do you remember? I
mean, the main character was a boy, so I'd say so. And it was mostly about him finding girls. So,
yeah, I think I only bought the first book and the second book at the book fairs, and I think it was pretty expensive. I can't remember what the prices were. But yeah, that's kind of what I didn't like about the book fair sometimes. It's because obviously we were kind of almost like a lower to middle class family, and whenever we would get the book fair magazines, I would be like circling stuff, and then sometimes they wouldn't have anything, or I didn't have time to ask my parents. But then I remember this one time, but whenever we were at the book fair, I think it was maybe 5th grade, really late, and the people that didn't have money had to stand outside and wait for the people that did have money and came out with like bags and bags of stuff. And yeah, I could see your side on like not liking the book fair at all.
Yeah, it was just something that everybody got hyped for, and I never understood why. I like I said, I like the magazine better. It always had more stuff. As somebody who liked Minecraft and Star Wars, it's like there was always something there for me, whether it be bookmarks or a lamp. You know, I just love that.
I specifically remember these I wouldn't say like iPhone erasers, but they were in they kind of looked like the iPhone, and it had like pink, green, blue, I think like red, and everyone would buy them, and I think that we would pretend like they're real phones, like they were like MIDI phones, like the size.
We had those, but they had markers in them, or highlighters, but like you'd slide it under. I think it was modeled after an iPhone 5, so that should tell you how.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, probably. I didn't think about that. But then I remember also buying this, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's kind of like this stick, and it has like a pointer finger like this on the end of it.
Like a white pointer finger?
Yeah, a white pointer finger with like whatever color you would want, like stick or whatever. So I remember teachers always having that in their class, and I was like, I want that for some odd reason. I bought it at the book fair. I think I remember it was pink, like a hot pink. And then that was such a waste of money after. I don't even know what I did with it. I don't know why I bought it. I think I just wanted to be like a pretend teacher whenever I got home and be like, I don't know why. That was such a waste of money. I wanted to talk about the Valentine's Day cards that we would pass around in school. Did you ever do that, or?
I was more of a giver and not really a receiver.
Me too.
But, I would give them, it'd be like, you're the banana to my sundae, stuff like that, and you would just sign your name. Most of the time, I didn't even sign my name. My mom signed my name, so it was in like really fancy cursive. But I remember doing that. Nobody really thought anything of it though.
I remember doing it a lot. I think we stopped almost every kiddish thing at 5th grade, and I think 4th grade was our last year to live that up, which I didn't know and I didn't take advantage of. But I remember I used to be so excited to buy the Valentine's Day cards for, I think some years we had to separate them up, like, okay, here are the amounts of girls that are in, and then here's the amount of boys. Get like Batman cards for the boys, and get like Barbie cards for the girls or whatever, and then stick the little candy in there or whatever. But I remember this one specific memory wherever people would like sign up to give each other like a Valentine's Day gram, and there would be like color charts, like if you got like a yellow heart, it was a friend. If you got like a purple heart, I think something like that, but a red heart or a pink heart was like, I think like a lover or a partner. We were in 4th grade. So I think I sent one to somebody, I can't remember, but we had this during our card passing time, we also had the receiving the yellow hearts and all this, and I was like, oh, I'm so bummed I never got one. Well, I reached down in the bottom of my little bag, my little brown bag, and I pulled out like a yellow card. And I think the yellow card meant friend or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is from the boy I like. No, I'm pretty sure it was my friend, like that I was talking about my crush or whatever. And she was like, she probably just done this to get me to shut up or something.
Man, I'm 99% sure every Valentine's card I got was from my parents or the teacher. I was always a teacher's pet. Like, not really, but the teachers always liked me. I wasn't sitting there going, Miss Tacker, can you put gum under the desk? But like, I always was kind of close to my teachers, so they probably split me some Valentine's cards.
I had such a bad experience with teachers. So whenever I was in my primary school years, I had to repeat a year because something was going on in my family, and I didn't do well during my first year of first grade, so I had to repeat first grade year. And then I knew everything because I like listened in the background, but I wasn't there like mentally, but I listened. But then I kept on passing first grade year. But then I think the school decided to put me in like, I don't know what anyone would call this. I'm pretty sure it's different towards every school system, but it's kind of almost like a tutoring class to get you, like, even whenever oh my gosh, I can't speak. Certain teachers would take you out of the classroom to like do your test somewhere else or something like that. Did you ever have like that in your, no?
I don't think so.
Or like it was called,
I mean, I wouldn't have known.
You wouldn't have known?
Because I'm guessing that was kind of on the down low. Like,
We had that all the way up until high school. I think it probably still goes on, but it's for like people that have like reading disabilities or speech impediments or something like that. But I was in it because I think the school thought I was dyslexic, which I wasn't. I just didn't like reading out loud in front of the class, like reading a story, spelling out words, telling them vocabulary words, anything, because I was really shy. I was a really shy and quiet kid. And that was kind of like my whole, I guess, that's what people thought of me based on their first ever, what would you call this? Impression? First impression of me. Just all this and that. And then I am not, I would say I stutter a lot, especially if you're listening to this podcast. I'm pretty sure you can tell a lot. But I stutter a lot. But anyways, I'm trying to think where I was going with this. Oh yeah, bad experience with teachers. Okay, so so teachers would have this knowledge of me. Oh, Lillie, she just doesn't do well with the things that we're going to do in class, so I have to treat her a different way. And then some teachers would take that as like a nice way, like a nice, gentle approach way. But then some teachers, mainly like math teachers, would come at a very aggressive way. Like if you get it, then you get it, and if you don't, sorry, that's on you. And they would kind of they would be so nasty and just so poisonous with the words they would say to us, like little kids. But it was very harsh for me in school, and I didn't get like a confidence boost or someone to be on my side for once until, how would you say this? Until 8th grade. I wrote this essay for my teacher in 8th grade, and I showed it to her, and she was like, "You wrote this?" And I'm like, "Yes." She was like, "Oh, I'm just so surprised that you wrote this. It's just so good." And so I think what she was meant to say, well, this is like above my level or something like that, because I have a history of being like under level for like a reading level, and I don't know. But that's whenever I started like being like, oh, well, I guess I could do this since this teacher said something nice to me. So that's kind of like what kind of started off me with like my confidence in school, but only almost for just the course of English. I don't know about math. Math didn't get hard for me until algebra was introduced.
I hated math all through school.
Oh gosh, I was doing so good, well, I guess decent in math until algebra came in, and then algebra for me was kind of like off and on. Like I got some of it, I didn't, and then geometry was easy for me because it was like shapes and like easy formulas. But then algebra 2, if you went to Satilla High School, you would know that algebra, well, I guess any other school, algebra 2 is such a like a harsh math to go through, and it's so complicated, so complex, and I feel like the instructor can either make or break your grade. Yeah,
I agree. Well, my geometry was pretty easy because the only letters that my teacher wrote on the board was the link to the website to find the answers, because she didn't care, and she got fired. She was cool. I mean, I know she's not listening to this podcast, but if you are, you know who you are.
You know who you are.
You're all right. I liked you as a teacher, but you could have turned your phone down when you were watching those shows. Well, like when I was younger, like I said, I was kind of cringy or whatever. I could have benefited from being a little quieter, but I feel like that's kind of the issue, because I grew up with the same people in every grade.
Yes.
Like we all went to the same school for all my life. So there's probably people that I graduated with that still thought I was like that and still thought I was weird, even though I was like vastly different in high school than I was earlier. But I hate that, because I want them to know me. And there's some people in high school that I was like, they're cool. I wish I could start talking to them. But they just, kind of wouldn't give me a chance because of that. But it's whatever.
During my high school years, I hated with the high school. If I am anything, I'm a hater. I mean, it may not seem like that. Like, I don't know. People probably think I'm like light and feathery.
I feel like most quiet people are haters.
Yeah, really?
Because they get the chance to sit there and listen and then judge quietly. Yeah.
I feel like my name kind of gives people the wrong impression of who my personality is or what my personality is. Like Lillie, like people, oh my gosh, it's like the flower and she's so fragile and her favorite color is pink. No, my favorite color is actually purple.
Oh wow.
Like
You're
black.
Really sticking it to the man.
But during my high school years, I moved to Tennessee during my freshman year. It was absolutely terrible. I feel like the people in Tennessee were 10 times worse than the people here. They were, oh my gosh, high-class snobs. Yeah. And I had nobody to relate to because I didn't grow up with these people. I didn't know what was going on in town because I didn't have no community. I only had one good friend, and I'm still friends with that one good friend till this day. But whenever I got back to my regular school in Mississippi, I just hated my class. I graduated in the class of 2022, and I feel like whenever we got into our middle school, era, I feel like everything changed. Everyone had to start gossiping. Everyone had to be, like I said, I was a people pleaser. That's what everyone was trying to do. And I feel like I had to follow the crowd, or else you were just shamed upon. Like if you didn't buy the popular shoes that were during that time, or whatever clothing, or just this big like superior thing, and I hate that. And still some people live to that whenever they get in college, and that is like my number one thing that I always say is like to be, I mean it's very cliche just to be yourself. Like, oh, my mom says this, my teacher says this, but I'm like, just truly be yourself. And I just hate people who put on like a fake front to get to the top or try to get with a specific group of friends. I just hate that so much. And I would know because I was one of those people whenever I was in middle school. Middle school was such toxic years. But I know, and I hate that person who I was, and I kind of showed that hate towards other people whenever I went to high school. And I was like, I guess some people would say like I was a stuck-up person, and I thought I was better than everyone else, which I just thought the people that, the people below our grade and the people in our grade, I thought they were just so immature, which if you're probably listening, you're probably like, well, they're right because of what you're saying, but I mean, fair. But, but I literally hated high school so much. I barely had any friends. Like, during the years, like you would constantly hop off a friend group and then get kicked out, or it's just people would change, and then they would neglect you for kind of like no reason, or kind of this assumption that they would have in your head of what you were like as a person. And I'm like, listen, never mind on the friendship, I'm out.
Thank you for listening to the first episode of That One Time. This episode was cut in half so you can hear the rest of this conversation